the gist. Yeah, Kuzy-TV, Kuzy-TV, every content they legit. Yeah, Kuzy-TV, Kuzy-TV.
In January 2022, residents of a building on MKO Abiola Way in the Leme area of Abeokuta, Ogun State, Nigeria, began to notice something disturbing. A terrible smell was spreading through their compound, and no one could figure out where it was coming from. What they would eventually discover in one of the apartments would shock the entire community and reveal one of the most heartless crimes imaginable: a woman who killed her own friend and sold her head for money. The foul smell started gradually, but within a few days, it had become unbearable. The residents of the compound could no longer ignore it. At first, they thought it was coming from the soakaway pit, the underground waste system that many Nigerian homes use. They assumed that perhaps the pit had gotten filled up and needed to be emptied. Several residents went to check the soakaway pit thoroughly. They inspected it carefully, but to their greatest surprise, the pit was totally fine. It was not the source of the horrible odor that was making life uncomfortable in the compound. This left everyone confused and worried. If it was not the soakaway, then where was this terrible smell coming from? The neighbors began tracing the source of the stench more carefully. They walked around the compound, sniffing near different areas, trying to pinpoint exactly where the smell was strongest. This was not an easy task because the environment at the building itself were quite dirty, making it challenging to identify the exact source of any particular odor. As they continued their investigation, the residents noticed that the smell seemed to be coming from one particular room in the building. That room was occupied by a couple, 43-year-old Kehinde Oladimeji and his 35-year-old wife, Adejumoke Raji. The couple had locked their apartment and traveled somewhere, leaving their room secured. The neighbors tried to wait for them to return so they could discuss the issue with them. The smell continued to get worse with each passing day, becoming more and more unbearable. After 2 days, the couple finally returned from their trip. As soon as Kehinde and Adejumoke came back, the neighbors confronted them. They told the couple that there was a horrible smell coming from their room and it had been disturbing everyone in the compound for days. The neighbors expected the couple to cooperate, to open their door and help investigate the source of the odor, but instead, Kehinde and Adejumoke refused to cooperate. Their refusal to help or even acknowledge the problem made the neighbors suspicious, because why would they not want to find out what was causing such a terrible smell in their own room? The neighbors decided that they had no choice but to involve the authorities. They reported the matter to the community leader, who then called the police. When the police officers arrived at the scene, they approached the couple and asked them directly to open the door to the apartment. This time, Kehinde and Adejumoke had no choice. With the police standing there, they could not refuse. They opened the door. The moment the door opened, everyone present was hit by an overwhelming wave of stench. It was far worse than what they had been smelling from outside. The horrible odor rushed out of the apartment like a physical force, making the officers and the neighbors recoil. The police officers entered the apartment and began to search thoroughly. They looked through the rooms carefully, checking every corner and space. Then they made a discovery that would change everything. Inside the apartment, they found a sack. When they opened the sack, they discovered fresh human body parts stored inside a plastic drum. The officers were shocked. They immediately arrested both Kehinde and Adejumoke and took them to the police station for questioning. What they would hear during the interrogation would reveal just how twisted and disturbing this case really was. During questioning, the couple gave completely conflicting statements. Each of them told a different story about how the human body parts ended up in the apartments. They were pointing fingers at each other, each trying to shift the blame. According to Kehinde's account, it was his wife Adejumoke who had killed and dismembered her 22-year-old friend named Ife Ade. He claimed that he had nothing to do with the actual killing and that he only found out about it after it had already happened. Kehinde explained that his wife had invited her friend Ife to their home on 2 separate occasions. The first visit was on a Tuesday. Ife came that day and then went back home without any problems, but then Adejumoke invited her again, this time on a Thursday, and it was on this second visit that the terrible crime took place. According to Kehinde, he was in the backyard while his wife and her friend were inside the house. Adejumoke prepared noodles and eggs for her friend. The two women ate together, and afterward, Ife went to take a shower in the bathroom. Everything seemed normal. But Kehinde claimed that his wife had drugged the food she saved to Ife. After eating the drugged meal, the young woman became weak and drowsy. When it began getting dark that evening, Kehinde said he came inside and asked his wife when her friend would be going home. Adejumoke told him that the lady was feeling weak and needed to rest before leaving. Kehinde said he went back outside to sit in the backyard, but when he returned to the room later, around 8 or 9 p.m., he was confronted with a very horrifying sight. His wife had killed Ife and had already dismembered her body. When Kehinde asked Adejumoke why she had killed her friend, she allegedly told him that Ife had offended her a long time ago. This was supposed to be her revenge, a deadly payback for some past offense, but there was another motive that Kehinde revealed during his confession. He claimed that his wife had overheard him talking to someone on the phone about buying a human head for 70,000 naira. According to Kehinde, he had a friend in Ibadan who had called him some time earlier and asked if he could obtain a human head, stating that he was willing to pay 70,000 naira for it. Kehinde said he had told his friend that he did not have such connections and could not help him get what he wanted. He thought that was the end of it, but his wife Adejumoke had been listening to the conversation. She heard about the money that could be made from selling a human head, and according to Kehinde, she kept it in her mind. So, when the opportunity came, when her friend Ife visited their home, Adejumoke allegedly saw it as a chance to make that money. She killed her friend, dismembered her body, and they sold the head to the man from Ibadan for 70,000 naira, just as discussed. Kehinde claimed that after the murder, they called the buyer in Ibadan. A man named Oluomo came and bought the head from them for the agreed price of 70,000 naira. The next day after the murder, Kehinde said he wanted to visit his family in Ota, another area in Ogun State. His wife insisted on following him, even though she had just cooked rice and soup at home. They locked up the apartment with the remaining body parts inside and traveled together. They came back on Sunday, and that was when all the neighbors started asking about the terrible smell coming from their room. The community leader had come along with other elders to investigate the smell, and that was when they discovered the body parts in their room. But Kehinde added another claim to his story. He said that his wife had told him that Michael, one of their acquaintances, had brought a package and asked them to keep it in their room. When they opened this package, they found more body parts inside. This was supposed to explain how they had a second set of human parts in their possession. When reporters asked Kehinde why he did not report to the police the night he found his wife killing the woman, he gave a very weak excuse. He said that if he had gone to report, his wife might have run away before he came back. It was a statement that made him sound like an accomplice rather than an innocent bystander. The reporters also asked him how he got to know people who buy heads and body parts. He explained that his friend from Ibadan had called him some time ago to ask if he had body parts to sell. He said he had told him at the time that he didn't, but he mentioned it to his wife, and since then she had kept it in her mind. So, after she killed Ife, they called the buyer and he purchased the head for 70,000 naira. However, Adejumoke told a completely different story. She claimed that her husband was framing her for a crime she did not commit. She denied killing her friend and insisted that she knew nothing about the murder. According to Adejumoke's account, someone named Michael had called her husband and asked where he was. Kehinde told Michael he was at his wife's house, so they went to meet Michael on the road. Michael gave them a package and asked them to keep it for him, saying he would come back to collect it later. But after 2 days, they started perceiving the odor, which prompted them to open the package and find body parts inside. This was how she explained the presence of human remains in their room. When asked about the first set of body parts and the killing of her friend Ife, Adejumoke admitted that she had invited Ife to her house. She said someone had reported something about Ife to her, so she invited her over to talk about it. Ife came on Tuesday and then again on Thursday. Adejumoke confirmed that she made noodles and eggs for her friend. She said that later, Ife received numerous phone calls and said she needed to leave. Adejumoke claimed she escorted her friend to the road and then went back inside the house. When she got back, her husband said he was going out. She said she also went out to buy some alcohol, and when she returned, she went to the back of the house to drink it. Her story suggested that Ife had left their house alive and well, and that she had no idea what happened to her afterward. During the interrogation, reporters noticed something interesting. When Kehinde was giving his account of what happened, Adejumoke could be heard in the background, saying something that sounded like she was telling him he was confessing too much. This suggested that she was worried he was revealing information that would implicate them both. But when the reporters challenged her about this, Adejumoke denied it. She claimed that what she actually said was that her husband was implicating her when she knew nothing about the crime. She also denied having any knowledge of the corpse or body parts that were found at their backyard. She insisted that she never fought with Ife and that she was innocent of the murder. The couple was charged and brought before an Ogun State Magistrate's Court in Abeokuta. They faced 2 counts of conspiracy and murder. The victim was identified as 22-year-old Ife Ade, who had been a close friend of Adejumoke. The magistrate did not take the plea of the defendants. Instead, she ordered that they both be remanded in prison, pending legal advice from the Ogun State Directorate of Public Prosecutions. The police prosecutor told the court that the defendants committed the offense on January 12, 2022 at their house. She explained that after Ife slept off from eating the drugged food, Adejumoke allegedly strangled her, butchered her body, and sold her head for 70,000 naira to a ritualist in Ibadan. The case was adjourned until April 29 for mention. If found guilty of murder, both Kehinde and Adejumoke could face the death penalty. Under Nigerian law, premeditated murder carries capital punishment, and the brutal nature of this crime, inviting a friend over, drugging her, killing her, dismembering her body, and selling her parts, shows clear premeditation. What do you think should happen to this couple? Should they both face the death penalty, or should one receive a lighter sentence than the other? Based on their conflicting stories, do you believe Kehinde's claim that he only discovered the murder after it happened, or do you think he was equally involved from the beginning? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more true crime stories.
Kuzy-TV, now we dey give you better gist.